Riley here for Board Game Geek TV at Spiel 2013. I'm sitting down with Dennis Kurps.
Hello.
Hello. You've brought us TF22 Reload.
Yes, I did. Which is the continuation of last year's load.
That's right, yes, and hence the re.
Yes, exactly.
New and improved.
Yes. And
oh, sorry, now is this a continuation? Is this a retheming? How is this different from last year?
Now it's different in the fact that I have been asked to add the third and the fourth player. Load being a pure two-player game, I needed to reinvent some rules and adapt them to the new situation, because some of the mechanics I was able to keep, but then I found out that I needed to change quite substantially the key element of the game. So really it's two different games. Although they look alike and the material is the same, we had to add some tokens, but I'll explain that in a minute, I guess.
All right, well actually, why don't you just go into it right now?
Okay, so besides it being a game 2 to 4 players, I added a special card, which is the Reload card, hence again the name, Reload. This is the Reload card, and the Reload card gives every player 4 special actions. Now these actions, okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry guys. So the Reload card, it gives you 4 different actions. One is just to take back all your cards played previously, and that's a free action. You can repeat that as many times as you want to. Then, according to how many tokens you have won during the game, you could, for instance, discard one of these containers from your spaceship, like this, back to the bank. You could maybe move one of these containers, in case you wanted to do that, or needed to do it. And number 3, which is the strongest option, with 3 tokens you could actually buy a container of your choice to put on your spaceship. So that's new, really new. Then also new is the way how points are scored. For those of you who remember last year, in Load, you had to have the absolute majority in that container color to score your container points. This year, as we're 4 people, I needed to introduce a second and a third winner, if I may say so. So if you have the majority, let's pretend I was playing for the majority in green, and you were able to get a green container, well, you would still score half your points. Plus, you get a point per each container you win, which is also new, because people came back and said, hey, it's not funny, I've been playing for 10 minutes, I've won 5, 6, 7 containers, and they are worth nothing.
Right.
And that was not fun enough. They liked Load, I hope, at least on Board Game Geek, they do. And so I thought, yes, that's a great idea. Thank you for the feedback, by the way. And I read all these comments, I have to say. And so I introduced that also as a new feature. And so now everybody can score more or less. And the scores are tighter. So that adds a little suspense. Then what's also new is that you don't play with the container cards like last year. Again, for those who remember, you had all your cards in hand and then you battled for the color of the container. This year is different. Everybody knows what he's fighting for. So in this example, everybody knows that he's fighting for a green container, thus 1 victory point, plus 1 victory point in green. Okay, let me just show you some examples. Here we would be fighting over a red container, plus 2 potential yellow victory points during the game later. Here we would be fighting for 2 blue victory points plus the container. Knowing that, we now have our own set of cards, 1 to 7, and we bid secretly for the pack. I don't know what to call this. For
the set.
For the set, exactly. For the set of 2 cards plus 1 container. So that's very different from last year, where you didn't know what you would get. Here you can clearly see, oh, I'm bidding for 3 blue victory points. And do I want to do that? If yes, I bid high, because the highest number wins. And if I'm not so keen, maybe I want to go low and see what happens. And here's a new element compared to last year. I'll just move these aside, because I can then show what happens. Let's say I play the 4, and you were playing a higher number 5, and this guy was playing a 2 in the 3-player setup. So the highest number wins. But sometimes, and more often even in a 4-player game, we had a tie. So that's where the tie tokens come in. So here, the small number 2, he actually wins the lot, and we would each get a tie token. Okay? Now, I had to create a circle of life, same as the circle of life with the stacking colors. And I came up with the idea, actually with the help of a friend who knows who I'm talking to, referring to, so thank you for that help. And this is it. So how does it work? If I was playing the highest number, which is potentially the strongest, and I would obviously most of the time win, I introduced David against Goliath by having the little number 1 who just takes out the 7.
Ooh.
And any other number in the game would be winning. Okay? So now this is interesting, I think, because look at this situation. There's 2 number 7s and they tie. The 1 wins. But there's 2 number 1s, they tie, the 7 wins. And you get different scenarios, different situations according to how many number 1s and 7s are in the game. And you could actually have this situation where it's a total tie because the 7s are gone and the 1s tie. And then all goes back to the bank and you just lost a valuable card. And that's when you maybe want to play the reload, meaning you have these cards out of your deck and you won't get them back until you play reload. And then you get all your cards back. Now, this is a crucial moment because when do I want to reload?
Since you're not going to be in the running to get that.
Exactly.
Pile.
So let's say there's a low winning score. This is probably when people want to reload. But if you had something like this with a lot of points, because the highest card is 3, so there's potentially 5 score points for you, 5 victory points. You won't want to reload now.
Right.
But as you keep going and going and going, you have less and less cards. And you will end up with a 3 and a 2 and like, oh no, there's my color, there's my victory points, and you can't go. So don't forget to reload on time. Again, if you reload and use a special action, where's my special, oh, here. If you reload and use any special actions, you don't pick up your cards. So it's or that or the other.
Right.
And that makes it even more tricky to choose the right moment. So that's really about all that's new to it. And that is, without going into all the little details that you discover while playing, that's about what's reload for the people to find out.
And what are our little dudes over here for?
Okay, right, I forgot to mention. Well, you got your scorecard, and as we play 2 rounds, so the container cards are what triggered the score. We would have 14 containers activated per round, and at the end of each round we would check for the score. So really, you would see and say, okay, this guy had maybe 3 points, so you just mark your score with that little buddy. And as everybody has that same card and has his personal buddy, I've seen people color them. And again, thank you, I have to say, thank you to the fans, because these 2 colors, and again, that person who is going to watch this, I hope you see this, because these colors are due to a fan who painted his original buddies in green and pink.
Nice.
Because his wife seemed to like pink and he was more into the greenish. So I thought that is great, and I'm just going to take that color and put it in the game for those 2 fans of mine. So there you go.
You know, which we really like to hear, because that's exactly kind of the ideal situation that we'd like to hear from how BGD is used.
Exactly.
As a not just a way of communicating, but a way of getting that entire loop from designer to consumer.
Exactly,
So.
and that was a chance to give back a little bit of what they gave me, because people buy my game and they seem to like it. So that was the opportunity to pay back.
Well, Dennis, thank you so much for showing us, and I gotta say, you're the last interview.
Is this the official last interview? Because okay, then I have a special. Where's John? John, I got something special for you. I promised you I would end the show with a bang. So I've done that. Okay. Thanks to those guys watching, and see you next year, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for being our finale,
Thank
so
you.
to say.
Okay.